Greetings, everyone. This week, I'm going to answer a question about hexing or cursing, but otherwise it's known as execration magic. And the reason why I'm answering this is because sometimes we feel like we need to take revenge on somebody who has done us harm, naturally. And you might feel a little dissonant about that. And you might also be wondering, why am I always a target of this type of individual? And the type of individual that normally can hurt someone who is really empathic or let's just say softer. I don't mean that in a harsh way, but more sensitive, okay, is typically a narcissist. And there's a lot of people that are attracted to a narcissist because it's what you experienced in your early childhood. And if you haven't learnt the lessons yet in life and found a different style of love that can really be your equal or love you equally, or love you in a way that will make you feel like you're connected, then you're always going to seek that same type of relationship that you're trying to heal from your childhood. And that's typically with somebody who's narcissistic. So let me jump into the question so I can make a little bit more sense. Now, Marcy has written this email. It is a little broken up. So hopefully I understood the tone of your email, Marcy. Your email was, I guess my question is, how do I make someone feel the same pain that they have bestowed upon me and our children and grandson? I mean, is karma real, and what goes around comes around? Do people really see you for the true colors? He is manipulative to everyone and getting everything he wants and crapping on everyone and talking bad about me, and I've done nothing but everything for this man, even though he is the highest of narcissistic that I've ever seen in my life. I'm getting where you're coming from, okay? Once again, watch those dots and commas. It really helps. All right, so let's jump straight into the back end of your email first, and then I'm going to lead into the type of hexing or cursing you could possibly do. And I'm thinking that you're not doing any type of magic yet, all right? So I'm going to base my question on an advice on the beginner's level of magic, or how you can do something to try and rectify this situation in the meantime. So what you're asking for is for this narcissist guy, this guy that you said is highly manipulative. He gets everything he wants. He takes pleasure in shitting on other people, that you've helped him out a lot in his life, and you're not seeing a return on that in a way that makes you feel good. Gosh, if I was advising you one-on-one, I would take this off on a little tangent once I understood more about your background and your relationship. But right now, you have to understand that if he is truly narcissistic, this empathy, this turning around of his psyche, where he's one day going to feel so much empathy and sympathy for you and understand all the pain he's caused you and say, I'm really sorry. I totally get that I've hurt you and I promise never to do it again. Well, I'm afraid that if he's truly narcissistic, those words are never going to come out of his mouth unless he wants to manipulate you again or get something else out of you. If he's done it for a long time, obviously he knows you well and he knows which way to play you. So in saying that, when you're thinking about a magical strategy, you have to understand what you're dealing with and what's the limitations of spells that you could particularly cast. So, and that's even for me. Like, if I'm casting on a narcissist, what am I really expecting to receive from the narcissist as a result of this spell? Now, so I started it off like that so I can shift over to share with you what you could potentially do. What you're really wanting, or what I'd really want, is for that person to feel pain. I want them to have major stuff-ups in life, maybe lose their career, maybe, have bad financial luck. have worsening, like have health issues, all these type of things. I'm not worrying about that person thinking about me and thinking about how they've done me wrong. If I want to try and get some reconciliation in that area, you've got to go and see a therapist, because it's not just really you're wanting basically reconciliation from a lot of other things in your life, not just from that one incident. And if you really think about that and do some meditation on that, that is actually the truth. This person has just it's the latest person who's done this level of injury to you in your life. My first, the easiest way for somebody who's coming into magic, I will say, can you just leave the person alone? Like, what will it take to actually have a break from this person and separate them out of your life altogether? Now, I don't know your history here. So if that is the case, if you can hotfoot them in more of the hoodoo or the conjured style magic and just remove them from your life, that's really, if they're causing that much hurt and pain and they're inconsequential to your existence, just leave them and then do a lot of cleansing work and psychological work yourself, meditation work and perhaps some metaphysical wound healing style of work to remove that person from your brain, because every time you think about them, you're only causing yourself pain. And this is, I'm jumping around a little bit, but you also asked about karma and what goes around comes around. Well, that I don't believe in that, because karma is a perspective. Karma is you're the only one facing the consequences yourself if you're holding all of this pain. This person is a narcissist. They're not having any negative consequences because this is just the way they live their life. This isn't just you. If this person's really this asshole, they're not just treating you like that. They're treating everyone like that, because narcissism is a personality disorder. Like true narcissistic personality disorder isn't something you just put on and take off like a hat. This is somebody's personality type. And so, anyone with narcissistic personality disorder is not going to ever go to a psychologist and put up their hand and say, oh, guess what I think I have and I want a treatment program for it. It just doesn't happen. You don't see a sociopath at a psychologist or any level of high narcissistic personality disorder style issues. It just doesn't happen. So is there karma on these people? The only maybe 1% of the time where somebody like this will come to a psychologist and it's for a purpose and it's not for long-term therapy, is when they say, I've noticed a whole bunch of people leave my life and I don't know why they have. I'm so wonderful, I can't understand why I've lost all my friends, or when it hits them financially, or when they haven't been able to process something that's really stuffed up in their life, but they're coming at it from the way that the other people must have caused or been at fault because I am so good. So how can you misunderstand? Like, how does everyone else misunderstand me? So if you're looking for that, for them to experience karma, or for them to have some insight about how they hurt somebody else, you'll never, ever receive that satisfaction. So that's why I'm saying you've got to just cut it. Now, let's say you can't cut it and you do have the pleasure of having someone like that in your face, and now you're able to cast hexes or curses or a low-level, low-frequency energy towards that person to cause them pain. And this is where it can become a little bit of amusing, right? Because now you can see them, and this is the only satisfaction that perhaps you're going to be able to receive. So if you're brand new to magic, what can you do? So something like, we're talking about basics, something that's really affordable and cheap, that's your good old candle work. So something like, your doom candle. Of course, you don't follow the conjure traditions where you're going to be cleansing perhaps a candle first and removing the negative energy. No, you want all the negative energy in there. Anything that's collected along this little candle's journey, you want it in this candle. You might want to put some, for example, doom oil in this candle. you can put, I like to work, in conjure we tend to work in odd numbers. So you could put some doom oil in there. There's so many different techniques and styles, but what you would do, you could even put some doom powder in there as well. You would then push down. You basically, I just like to make some little holes like in the top of the candle. Sometimes if I'm creative, I've got a lot of time, I'll do an inverted pentagram in there as well. And if you really, there's two different things that I personally do. I haven't seen anyone else do this, but I'll either get a sigil and if I'm working with a demon, okay, and I'm summoning to that demon, and then as an offering, I will burn that sigil and put the ashes into the top of the candle as well. Or you could do that as well to the picture of the target. Put their ashes into the top of the candle and burn that as well. So that's something. If you're worrying about karma or negative energy around that, not that I have a white candle here, I would have a white candle, and what I would do is I would burn that right next to the doom candle. Okay, so you're asking for protection for yourself, and as well you're hexing your target. Okay, just for completion, sometimes I will write on the candle. Let me just cover up the names here. But for example, here I've actually written on the candle, right? And I've written, of course, I've drawn some sigils on there because that's just what I do. All right, so you can write directly on the candle. Or another opportunity is to write actually the petition. And if you're following proper conjure style work, you fold the petition away from you, depending, this is a small petition, right? And then you sit the candle on the petition with the duration of the burn, okay? Now, that's basic, it's cheap, it's affordable, and you can do it without any magical experience. All right, say you have a little bit of magical experience, what can you do then? If you're good at meditation, so this is actually probably advanced black magic, really. It's when you really can visualize extremely well, and you have to really get into state first, go into a trance state. You think about the target and you really think about what you want to happen to that target. And you feel it so intensely in your body. And when you release that energy, it's like creating a servitor towards the target. That energy sits on the target's aura and dissolves the aura. So if you've looked at their picture or you're good at looking at the auras, you will notice that their aura will start to break down. It might be a browny sort of grayish type of color. A lot of the times there'll be breaks, a lot of gaps in the head area. And this is when you really know that you're doing some good work and that this servitor or negative energy is really affecting them. And how does that manifest? What happens to them? Normally it'll be low mood, depression, sometimes anger, unable to sometimes go to work. And then it could be a bunch of different little misfortunes that could possibly happen just as a result of that. I think I've answered that question for you. And just to anyone else writing in about this type of issue, hexing or cursing, please also say in your emails what level of magic you're comfortable in practicing. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.